Hey there, good greetings. Habarigani is the greeting of the day. I celebrate Kwanzaa, and today is the day for creativity. It's New Year's Eve, so that's a pivotal moment in time, but it is also the day of creativity in regard to the celebration of Kwanzaa. So it's day 6, and the principle of the day is my favorite. It's creativity. It's my favorite because I'm an artist. I want to greet you. I want to say, hey, how you doing? And I'm really just checking in for a bit of a chat. I'm checking in because I want to say that, 2022 has been some kind of amazing year. It's had challenges, it's had blessings, it's had loses, and it's had wins. But all in all, we are still here and we are blessed. So I sat down and I began to just kind of list the things that I could put in my grateful column leading into 2022 and throughout the year. And I thought I would just kind of have a chit chat. I thought I would just kind of, just check in. Is anybody out there? If you're out there, go ahead and throw that comment in the stream so that I know you're out there. I'm gonna chat a little bit so that people can, if there's anybody. Oh, William Jones is in the room. Habarigani, how you doing? The man in purple. There you go. Thank you for checking in. I'm having just a bit of a chat, and I hope that some other folk will come on in the room. Like I said, this has been an amazing year. It's been an amazing year. For many of you that do know or don't know, I currently have a few exhibitions up and running right here at this point in time, or at least my artwork is in a couple of exhibitions, and one I am curating, and this is the last few days that you can see either one of them. Hey there. I let's see. I think what is most amazing to me is that right at the Peel, I have a 35-year retrospective. 35 plus years. I founded an African dance company in 1989, and it was an answer to a really big void. There was no drum and dance for my children. There was no drum and dance for the community. There was no really sufficient or excellent option in this city and its immediate surround in regard to traditional African dance and drum. Now, at that point in time, I was traveling across the country and beyond, performing with other companies. But I decided to pause, pull it all back in, and pour that energy and that information into this city to fill the void. Now, here we are 35 plus years later, and you can look around and you can see many companies that are drumming and they're dancing, many theatrical opportunities that have drum, African dance, and djembe work. Djembe is the traditional African drum of the Mali dynasty. So you can see that information just kind of all around in the landscape. It's a beautiful thing. And I feel really proud, really, really proud that to have been a part of all of that. Well, this retrospective at the Peel Museum that is up through January the 15th is my finale. I will no longer be booking Sankofa Dance Theater. I will no longer be part of the business of African dance and drum in that way. I'm a dancer in spirit and heart. I will never stop dancing, but in that way, I will not be training and booking company members. So if you'd like to kind of see an overview, a retrospective of 35 years, you can see that in the Peel Museum. We are embodying the entire third floor. There's a room where you can see people who have talked about their journey or they're part of the journey and how they've been affected by Sankofa Dance Theater. There is a room where you can see ephemera, where you can see posters and letters of support and all kinds of written and things that have been uh, copied or reproduced digitally so that they are on big panels in a room. And in there, you can also see archival footage of the company since 1989. And it's really interesting to watch people just sit in that room for long periods of time and just watch the company as it has evolved. Watch the children who are now grown-ups with their own children and whose children are now college age. It's pretty amazing to look at the breadth of 35 years. And then there's a room that has all kinds of artifacts that have been part of our stage presence. So you see artifacts and props that have been on the stage. You see that is our way of kind of representing. You see some footage. You see slideshows of images. I don't know if you haven't seen it, whether you've seen Sankofa Dance Theater or not, just go ahead and check it out. That exhibition is going to be up through January the 15th. It's on the 3rd floor of the Peel Museum. And quite incidentally, that museum is open today for a couple more hours, and then it will open again next Thursday. So it's basically open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the next couple of weeks. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a really cool thing. So while I am on the topic of exhibitions, I want to say that I'm really, really thankful. My work has been part of a few exhibitions leading into 2022 and throughout 2022. The first one, I would have to say, leading into 2022, that has been just really a strong stepping stone. It's something that is a power up kind of energy and an inspiring kind of energy. Dolls as Identity. And this was an exhibition, a very short, brief pop-up one-day exhibition at the Library of Congress, welcomed by the power of the Library of Congress and curated by Camilla Bryce Laporte. And it was just that messaging that comes through doll makers as they allow history and legacy and energy to move through them. So to be a part of that powerful group of doll makers at the Library of Congress was really, really a treasure and a treat. If you go on the Library of Congress website, you can find information about that day. It was really, really powerful. A little later on in the year, this is actually leading into 2022, so we're not exactly at January yet. I did another group exhibition at the DC Arts Center on 18th Street, curated by Jamie McKellen. This was called Navigating Through. And it was a group of women and their answers to the difficulty of the darkest days, their answers through art of the darkest days of the pandemic that we are trying so desperately to get behind us. This was my drive to that exhibition, to that work. And this is a note that I keep in front of me at all times. Note to self. It's on the wall right in front of me. Your art is a medicinal narrative. Your work is not to drag the world kicking and screaming into a new awareness. Your job is to simply do your work sacredly, secretly, and silently. Those with eyes to see and ears to hear will respond. And so that was my inspiration to do some work that actually was to act. It was mixed media collage work that actually acted as a medicinal narrative and was featured in this Navigating Through exhibition. And there were things like like a mortar and pestle as a cauldron to mix medicinal energies, like you mix herbs and spices and things that are healing, have healing properties for the body in an age-old kind of way. Well, that's what this work was. And then to close out the year and to lead into the next year, which now brought us to 2022, was my solo show, the first solo show that I had ever had the luxury, had the blessing of making, Indigo Pathways. And it was all about my work. It featured my work in indigo, my work as small art quilts, art dolls, mixed media collage on canvas, all using textile, fiber, and cloth, and all work that I'm an indigo dyer. So all work featuring work that I had personally dyed in my indigo vat. And that was quite a feat for me. It featured 24 works, 24 original works, and it was up in the Frederick Douglass Isaac Myers Museum in the third floor gallery. I am the curator so I self-curated that show in partnership with the Living Classrooms Foundation. So that was really a big blessing. And as a result, I was able to publish, design, and write a catalog to go on, a mini catalog to go along with that exhibition. So that was really, for me, artistically, a very powerful way to enter into 2022. Oh my gosh, 2022, the energy, the effort. 2022. If you're out there in 2022 had some rigor for you, send me a little note. If you powered through that rigor, send me a little note. Just go ahead and drop it in the comment stream and I'll share it. I'll share it. Yeah, because 2022, we got on through it. If we are standing here, if we are sitting here, if we are talking and walking, we are victorious. Yes, we are blessed and we are victorious. Anything that we went through, woo, as we watched other people fall back beside us and around us, there were some moments that were kind of scary, but there were many, many moments that we can count as blessings. And so that is why I am on today, counting blessings. So if I were to go on and talk about exhibitions that received my work, exhibitions that I was a part of during the summer. So navigating through was in 2021. It brought me into 2022, powered it up. Dolls as Identity at the Library of Congress did that same thing. Indigo Pathways, my first solo show, was a powerful way for me to end 2021 and enter 2022. Such a great honor. And then as I moved into the warmer months, as I said, I am an indigo artist. And part of the artistry of indigo is not just the work that comes out of the dye vat, it's the vat itself. Being able to share that energy, being able to work and make and keep alive a natural vat of indigo. Being able to grow indigo in my yard and make those leaves turn cloth into blue. Such magic. That is artistry in and of itself. So in the summer months, I poured myself into that direction. In partnership with the National Natural Dye Initiative. And I want to shout out Sherry Park's name in regard to the Natural Dye Initiative. Yes, so in partnership with that, I was able to do a mobile dye vat on a Arabber cart. Baltimore traditions meeting Baltimore traditions. Natural dye traditions meeting Baltimore traditions. So I don't know where you are, and I don't know if you were able to come out, but many people were able to flock to this funded mobile die cart that was made a couple of stops at the Park Heights Plantation Urban Farm Initiative, made a couple of stops at the Wednesday open farmers market at Druid Hill Park, made a stop in response to a young man falling to uh, violence and victory at Mergenthaler High School, using the die vat and letting the students take part in that artistry as a healing modality. So we were able to do that all summer long. And through that, oh my gosh, we were able to partner with um, the Arabers in West Baltimore. If you don't know about them, look them up. Google that. That is a Baltimore tradition. And yes, I said Arabers. Arabers. It's a Baltimore thing. It is something that comes from the legacy of moving food in and out of food desert communities that have been historically problematic in Black city communities. And during coming out of the Great Depression and moving through the Great Migration, these Araber carts were carts that kept fed communities. And they are still going strong. They are still in existence. So I thought we would partner with the Arabers to do this very traditional legacy kind of thing, and partner with the Natural Dye Initiative so we could do it at no cost to the participants. Oh my gosh. So not only did the Natural Dye Initiative and Sherry Parks partner with us, but also the Neighborhood Fiber Company. They were the ones that mixed the vats for me. They were the ones that, oh, I mean, such a great partnership. So we would come out, free t-shirts to all who were to participate, or people could bring their own 100% cotton small items, t-shirt size items, and learn the techniques of Adire Oniko, that is tie and dye, Nigerian style, Yoruba style, and end up with something beautifully blue. So we did some of that. Not only did we do that, but I also taught indigo dye traditions at McDaniel College. So the summer was very much about teaching technique. It was about the vat. It was very much about sharing that energy. And so I sat down with a whole team of young folk who were my mighty warriors from House Ajanku that helped me create an entire dye village outside, because we're still responding to COVID at this point in time, an outdoor dye village so my participants could be safely outside so that they could learn the traditions. And we sat down and we put our strong tendrils out in that direction for a full week with an exhibition to close it out. It was quite amazing, and we've already been invited to do that again in 2023. So if you're interested in classes in indigo dye traditions, DM me, stay in touch with me, keep abreast of my social media, because things will be coming up during the summer. Indigo is most easy to work with. Indigo likes the warm weather. So there is that. I see a few more people have come on in the house. If you're there, give me a shout out. If you're there, just throw something in the comments. I am really just kind of talking about the wonderment of 2022. Yeah, 2022 has been quite amazing. I've been able to use my art as a medicinal narrative. I have been able to understand inside of myself that my work is not to drag the world kicking and screaming into a new awareness. My job is simply to do my work sacredly, secretly, and silently, and those with eyes to see and ears to hear will respond. Timothy Hamp is in the house. Let's see where you at. Hey there. How are you? You are far away. I'm sending shout outs and big hugs to you. Shout outs and big hugs as we move out of 22 and into 23. Yeah. So, yeah, that's that. So that was the summer. The summer of 22 was about sharing the information about indigo and training and teaching people, dye traditions in and out and beyond. Yeah. Brenda Beasley, you're in the house. There you are. Where are you? I see you. I can't get you up and running. Can I show you? I can't. I don't know how to get. Okay, let's see if I can't. My clicker is doing things here. Is that called technical difficulty? I don't know. Brenda Beasley, I'm sending you a shout out. I don't know how your comments are not showing for some reason. I don't know why, but that's all right. I'm going to keep going. Here we go. I think I've got it. No, it's not going. All right. Well, Brenda Beasley, I see you out there, and I love you right back. Hey, okay. So that was 2022. As we moved into the fall of 2022, that was the summer. I was invited. I had been to South Carolina a couple of times to the Low Country, a couple of times during the pandemic. I am a driver. I'm a traveler. And it is hard for anything to stop me from doing that. So during the pandemic, I figured out how to safely get myself from one place to the other, how to put all I needed in the back of my car, whether it meant my art supplies, whether it meant my artwork, whether it meant my food, so that I didn't have to stop along the way, no matter what it meant. I figured out how to safely get in my car, get in my truck, and drive wherever I wanted to be. And I do like a road trip. So I was invited. I took some artwork and I did a short, brief pop-up residency with a very dear friend of me, Ariane King Cromer, who is an indigo artist that lives in the Low Country in South Carolina. So earlier in 2021, I had done a residency with her. We just kind of hung out and set up an outdoor dye village of our own, and we just inspired each other by making work. It was very, very important to stay inspired. It's very, very important to not let anything just kind of bring you down or stop your artistry. So Ariane has been like my kind of wonder twin energy surrounding indigo across the pandemic. And while I was there, I did a meet and greet with some beautiful people that I met who are art collectors, some wonderful people who live in that Low Country area in St. Helena Island area. And I was invited back during the end of 2023, during the fall of 2023. Nisa's home is owned by Ife Taya White. Ife Taya White is a Reiki master. And so she also does pop-up. She's a great collector of artistry and artwork. She is a great friend of artists. And so occasionally she does gatherings and she invites artists to these amazing dinners. And so I was able to load my car up. I took some small works. I took some larger works. I took some printed work. I took some dolls that I had been making. I took a variety of things down to Nisa's home, and I did a solo home show for a private show for a group of collectors, and it was quite amazing. That was in the fall of 2022. And so I want to give shout outs to both Arian and Ifitayo. They are amazing sisters. They are connected to my soul, and I feel such kindred energy from them. So that was a private collector's show at Nisa's home. After that, all along, I've been working on this fabulous, huge retrospective of my very own Sankofa Dance Theater. Now, to say my very own is quite a stretch, because there's nothing that I ever did with Sankofa that was a solo kind of energy. It is music, movement, and folkways in a way that has stood on the back of on the shoulders of my family, House Ajanku, and the community. The community, the love of the community. If you see any drum and dance in Baltimore City, ask them, and they are somehow connected to me, to House Ajanku, to Sankofa Dance Theater. So there's nothing with Sankofa that ever happened in and of itself. That exhibition was, almost 3 years, definitely 2 years in the making. We had begun to talk about it before the pandemic. The pandemic shut it down and derailed it. And then we were able to bring it back in the fall of 2022. It is still standing. It is on the 3rd floor of the Peel Museum. It has been requested for extension. So if you see it still there, it is because they have requested that we not close on the 30th of this month as was originally planned, but that we close on the 15th of January. So if you haven't seen it, you still have time. Go on in there. It's on the 3rd floor at the Peel. And then, what an amazing show at the Baltimore Washington International Airport. There is a gallery space that is at the end of, it's right as you go through the international wing of the Baltimore, of the departure wing of the Baltimore Washington International. It's before you get to TSI, so you actually can go see it, but it is in the airport. And Black Art Today, if you see this, Black Art Today Foundation is the brainchild of Lisa and Alicia Clark. This exhibition is up and running through mid-March. It is entitled Womanity. Womb, like the womb of a woman. Yes, Womanity. And this is a variety of artists who are responding to this prompt, Womanity. What does it mean for you? So I have 2 pieces in there. One of them is a small art quilt. It is about the pathway of indigo and the woman's work that goes into the tradition of dyeing, the tradition of fabric carrying from legacy to legacy. And that piece is embellished with glass for our strength, with silver for our richness. It is embellished with cowrie shells for our fertility. And also a piece called Under the Baobab. And this features women moving to market, women upholding their family, women passing the spiritual tree, which is the baobab tree, moving into market. Yeah, there we are. Brenda Beasley. Hey, I don't know if you're still there, but hello to you too. Anyway, so that exhibition is up. It is still there. And from the standpoint of the exhibitions, that's what brought me to the end of the year. But there's so much more. Oh, I also forgot there was one other pop-up, a one-day exhibition, also curated by Camila Bryce Laporte at the Slave Museum in Sandy Springs, Maryland. And that was another just a gathering of doll makers who use doll work to speak to the identity of who we are as African people born in America. Sometimes it's about the trials and tribulations. Sometimes it's about the beauty and successes. Sometimes it's just about staying and being. So that was a one day at the Slave Museum in Sandy Springs, and that is quite a miraculous place. If you haven't been there, check out the Slave Museum in Sandy Springs, Maryland. Woo, those are the exhibitions that my work has been a part of. There were also exhibitions that I curated, and I am the resident curator at the Frederick Douglass Isaac Myers third floor gallery in Fells Point. I think it is a very magnificent space. It's beautiful, but it also stands on the pier that was owned by Isaac Myers, a Black man, during slavery. It also supports that space where Frederick Douglass worked before he manumitted himself from enslavement. So he worked for Isaac Myers before he left Baltimore. And so just that space is very, very powerful. When you get up to the third floor gallery, you get to overlook the harbor, and you get to overlook what kind of has been an impactful port for this America. At one point in time, Baltimore was the second largest port. That means a lot. That means that it is a place where enslaved people were trafficked and sold from. That is very powerful, that statement. And the energy of that you can feel in that gallery. So the work that I do in that gallery, the work that I feature in that gallery is always social justice work. It is always work that makes a statement. I've been able to present Freedom Train, the work of Ed Tulls. I've been able to present Melancholy in the Music, the work of Karen Buster and her wife Tracy Tracy, and SB Frazier's work has been in there. Larry Pancho Brown, I've been able to present their work, his work in there. Right now, James Murphy's work is up and running. And that exhibition will be there through the first week in January. If the gallery is closed now, but if you wanted to go in there during the weekday work days on that first week in January, you could, after we get past the first of the year and those celebrations that we so want to honor as we bring in this new year and new energy. So that space is pretty pivotal. Out of that space, I've been able to publish, design, and write mini art catalogs for Freedom Train, for Melancholy in the Music, for Indigo Pathways. And there will be more to come, so keep your ear to the ground. During this year, this 2022, I've been able to travel a bit and be inspired, and leading into travel a bit and be inspired by other art exhibitions. Frida Kahlo was in New York. I went to see Bisa Butler's work in Chicago. I went to see Ruth Carter, the costume designer's work in Roanoke, Virginia. I went to see Jean-Paul Basquiat's work in New York City. And I went to see Faith Ringgold's work in New York City. So traveling and supporting art has been a part of getting me to where we are right now. I have been working with also a group of women who we're talking about kindred spirit. We are all four doll makers. We are all four seasoned artists. We are also seasoned in our journey in life. We call ourselves the Journey Girls. Camila Bryce Laporte, Francine Haskins, Julie Dickerson Thompson. What is it that we do? We gather together and sometimes we just stitch and sew. But more importantly, we gather together and we go and say prayers and light candles at the grave sites of Indigenous people. We want to make sure that our folk, our ancestors who seem to be invisible and lie in the margins sometimes, are not forgotten. And so during this time, we've conquered a few things. We've climbed a couple of mountains and we've just kept going even when we haven't felt like going. But we have an amazing time. And our spirit is stitched at the soul, that's for sure. Whoo, this year has been an amazing thing. Leading into this year has been an amazing thing, and I would be remiss if I didn't give shout outs. I've gotten some awards. The Ruby's Artist Award, that was in 2021, but it was part of that stepping stone that brought me to 2022 as a stepping stone to 2023. So the Ruby's Artist Award by the Robert W. Dush Foundation, a Folklore Apprenticeship Award by the Maryland State Arts Council, and that is still in action and in play. It is the project that we are working on is called Indigo for Tomorrow. I am working with family members, with my sons and daughters, as we speak into continued existence, the legacy of indigo, as we move out of the margins, the hidden atrocity of indigo, or remove medicinally the pain of indigo in this country, because indigo was a cash crop during slavery and the beauty was separated from it. So we don't generally get to talk about it from the standpoint of the beauty that it is in regard to its connection to South Carolina, to Florida, to Louisiana, to those low country areas. So Indigo for Tomorrow is a project that is funded by the Maryland State Arts Council and the Folklore Apprenticeship Grant. It is going to have an exhibition attached to it that will be at the Frederick Douglass Isaac Myers Museum in summertime, coming up summer 23. And to support that, I've been able to receive an individual artist grant by the Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts. And so that's upcoming. I also received a Legacy Artist Award that was earlier in 2021, but part of the power and the energy that led me into 2022. And then, of course, the partnership with the Natural Dye Initiative has been such an honor to be a part of, and is going on, and you will begin to see hopefully more mobile dye carts as an option. So keep your ear to the ground for that during summer of 2023. And I've been on here for a while. I'm coming pretty much to the end. I want to thank you for hanging in there with me. I also want to just give a shout out to the Greater Baltimore Cultural Alliance, because I run for them an initiative for leadership training of melanated arts, emerging arts leaders. It's called the Urban Arts Leadership Initiative. And I have an amazing and most powerful group that are doing great work. And as a feeder to that, I teach urban arts for the Fine Arts Department at Coppin State University. And so I want to shout out to that. I've been not by any state of the way that you look at anything, kind of twiddling my thumbs. I've been keeping myself quite busy and If the Creator gives me that energy, I will continue to do that. So this has been my 2022 review. I hope that I will hear more from you. I hope that you have a great Kuumba and a most amazing new year. Happy New Year, Akosua Josephine Robinson Reed. I love you, sister. And just, I hope you got that black eyed peas and some greens going, washing up those clothes. You know how the old folks say you got to do those things. You got to make sure that you set your intentions right going into 23. What do? I bring in the year making art. I put my black eyed peas on the stove. I wash up all my clothes, and then I bring in the new year making art. I intend to do that this year as well. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Peace. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa.